Hello TaleForges. In today's video we will focus on the implementation of a simple UI in ECS that informs us when a player dies. So let's start by creating a canvas. Right-click in the hierarchy, UI, Canvas. Next, let's set the size to vertical Full HD, which is the standard for mobile devices. It is 9:16 aspect ratio. You can also create the game in 60:9 aspect ratio, which equals to horizontal Full HD if you want. Okay, we need a window, so let's create an empty GameOver window object. Of course, let's set the anchor preset to stretch with press Shift plus Alt, so that the window preserves the aspect ratio for different devices. Inside it, we'll create a stretched container that we will enable at the game over. Also add offsets left and right 100, top 600 and bottom 800, so that we position the UI in the center at a distance from the edge of the screen. Now let's create a background image in which we also set the anchor preset to stretch. Select source image to background UI. Of course, texture type is sprite. Next, let's add a description which will be set via GameOverController based on the localization. The font can be set to size 72. Let's set top stretch for this element. Also set left position to 100, right position to 100, Y position to minus 170, high equals 400. Set both alignments to center. Last thing, let's create a back to menu button that will allow us to switch between scenes. This will be covered in the upcoming materials, where we will learn how to switch between the menu and game scenes. First, select source image to button 2, then set position and pivot to bottom. Position Y equals minus 75, width and height 400. Let's set the font size to 46. Also change color to white. Let's set top position to 10. No need to remove the container. We will just disable it in the code, so you will still be able to preview UI in the Unity editor. In this tutorial, I also want to show you how to localize text. So let's go to the package manager and install the localization package provided by Unity. Select Window, then Asset Management, Localization Tables. We need to add new localization settings. Let's save in the settings folder. We haven't created any tables, so let's add a new one. We have received a warning that we don't have locales selected, therefore let's click on Local Generator and select the languages we are interested in. For me, this will be English and Polish, as I am from Poland. I saved the generate data in the settings folder. Now it is time to create a new table. This will be a table of type string, which I will call UI text. I'm going to save it in the settings as well. Now I can add two entries, one with the win game key and the other with the lose game key. I use the snake case here because the localization package reminds me of database. I type into the win game field, you have won, congratulations, which in Polish means wygrałeś, gratulacje. In the lose game field, on the other hand, I will write you lost. Would you like to try again? I see tab is not changing fields in this window, which means in Polish, przegrałeś, czy chcesz spróbować ponownie? Okay, time to start coding. First of all, let's create new ECS system, GameOverSystem. Of course, add partial keyword and inherit from system base. Let's add the update in group type of simulation system group attribute at the beginning of the class. In this class, we want to create an event which will be invoked when the player flag is dead is set to true. So let's write public event action bool game over. Now it's time to create protected override void on create and add require for update player component data. So we can check player flag in onUpdate. Next, create onUpdate method where we get singleton player entity and player component data via system API. If player component data is not dead, return. After checking the condition, let's invoke the GameOver event with the true flag and destroy the player entity. That's it. We have simple event communication. It's time to create mono behavior controller called GameOverController. First of all, let's add the TaleForge.ui namespace and add 4 serialized fields: GameObjectContainer and TextMeshPro text, which I group like references, and 2 localized strings, WinGameTextLocalization and LoseGameTextLocalization, which I group like localized text. Let's create private void awake method where we cache GameOverSystem from word.defaultGameObjectInjectionWord.getExistingSystem manage GameOverSystem. Of course, we need to add a new private GameOverSystem variable, GameOverSystem. Then let's set container active state to false, because we want to hide it after the game starts. In the onEnable, let's add subscription to the GameOver event. In the onDisable, just unsubscribe. Let's create a private void onGameOver event boolIsPlayerDev method where we can enable the container and set the text depending on the player state, win or lose game text. This is how we handle our UI communication. Last thing, we don't want to change the player's input after game over, so let's extend the InputSystem class. Let's create a private GameOverSystem class variable, GameOverSystem. Let's add a protected override void onStartRunning, which doesn't require an iSystem start-stop implementation for system base. Then let's assign entity manager .word.getExistingSystemManage GameOverSystem to GameOverSystem and bind to the event via GameOverSystem.GameOver plus equal onGameOverEvent. Now let's create a private void onGameEventBoolState method in which we disable input controls. Don't forget to unsubscribe event. Alright, let's go back to Unity, wait for compilation process to finish, add new component GameOverController to GameOverWindow and set the serialized fields, so container, text and localized text, win game and lose game. I forgot to add localized text for back to menu, so let's go to the localization tables and create new field, back to menu. Of course, add English and Polish localizations. Then let's go to back to menu text in Unity hierarchy and add new component, localize string event. Select string reference to back to menu. Then add new update string event, Pass back to menu text reference and select text. Okay, let's see if everything is working. Press play and go right to dead zone. The UI appeared, a message was received, and the player was destroyed. In addition, hitting the input keys doesn't generate any errors, so we have effectively protected ourselves from undefined behavior. Well done! I invite you to support us on Patreon. Any support is really appreciated. On Patreon, I share materials in advance and add useful code snippets. Nice to have you with us. Thank you for your engagement. Until next time.